Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. If you've been on this platform before, welcome back to my channel. So today we will be talking about stress and its management, and to assist me with that, we have a very phenomenal personality in our midst. He is amazing, he is kind, hardworking, and actually he is my boss. So can you please introduce yourself to our viewers?
Yeah, sure. Hi everyone. Hi Mary.
Hi.
My name is Horia Alex and I am an FLM or a team lead with Jumpact. I've been with Jumpact for about a year now.
Okay.
And so far so good. I'm loving it.
Amazing. So let's just dive into this. I'm sure you might have heard of stress.
Yes, of course. I think everyone has. It's a big topic of our times. Yeah, and problem is there's a bit of a misconception when it comes to stress, because in general we only acknowledge the bad side effects of stress, and we don't think of the actual benefits that it can bring us and that it has brought us throughout time.
Okay.
Stress is in a way part of the fight or flight response. Its purpose is to get our body ready. This happens usually when we have situations we are unfamiliar with, or when we might perceive danger. It's the way our body prepares ourselves for those situations.
Yeah.
It can have various symptoms. You can get sweaty. Your heart rate might go up. The blood vessels might stiffen up. More circulation might go to your muscles. Basically, your body's getting ready for a fight.
Okay. It's amazing that a lot of us go through stress and we don't even know that we're stressed. Yeah. So can you tell us what are some of the signs of being stressed?
Yes. These symptoms are varied, and I tend to split them in three major categories.
Okay.
The first ones are the physical side effects. However, there's something I need to mention.
Yes.
Stress can be of several types, or I categorize it again. It can be acute or it can be chronic. The main issue is with chronic stress.
Okay.
Acute stress can also be an issue depending on how strong the stressors are. And again, it's correlated a bit with time. But acute stress happens over a short period and it's high in intensity, while chronic stress happens usually over a longer period of time. Okay. And it doesn't necessarily have to be accompanied by high levels of tensors. Okay. It can be low level, just continuously there, and it can affect us more than bouts of acute stress periods. Now, when it comes to the actual symptoms, in general, for me at least, it's usually either headaches or stomach aches.
Okay.
Unfortunately, these can also lead to, further down the line, to migraines. If it's in case of the stomach, it might be the case that if our stomach hurts, we are not going to be eating because we can't. And especially if it happens at work, if the pain is not strong enough, we might keep carrying on, having the stomach empty, which might lead to gastritis, to ulcer, and so all sorts of issues. Now, there are other symptoms or other signs. For me, the second one would be the immune system.
Okay.
So the immune system has the tendency to lose its strength when we're stressed, so we might get sick more. And again, if it's related to work, for example,
yes,
that can lead to us missing work.
Okay.
Can put us behind time on tasks, and it's just a ball effect. It just keeps going and going and adding upon itself. So it can lead to nasty situations. apart from these effects, we can also have the psychological effects.
Okay.
Stress can lead to anxiety, can lead to depression, can lead to burnout, and perhaps it would be a good idea afterwards to go a tiny bit back on burnout. One thing I forgot to mention in regards to the physical ones,
Okay.
it's related to the circulatory system.
Okay.
Stress is a big cause for heart-related, not only accidents, but disease.
Okay.
As I mentioned before, the heart starts pumping faster, the blood vessels tend to get rigid.
Yeah.
That puts extra stress on the entire circulatory body. If this happens over long periods of time, again, it's not good. It can lead to all sorts of issues.
I think the most interesting one for me is the compromise on the immune system, because
Yes.
if your immune system is like so low or compromised, then it just leaves you void to so many like
Exactly. You're gonna be
diseases and stuff.
Exactly. You might get a flu which you normally might not have gotten because your your body would fight it off.
Yeah.
This, as far as I know, is mainly due to the cocktail of hormones which
Okay.
is being released. So the idea is to try to figure out what your strongest stressors are,
Okay.
try to manage those, try to figure out which are your best ways
Yeah.
of getting out of those situations, or at least calming your psyche down.
Okay. Well, Horia, a lot of people don't seem to take stress so seriously. So it would be nice to know some of the disadvantages of stress, because if you know how it impacts you negatively, then you might want to take it much more seriously.
Yeah, so it's
Especially
mainly,
at work, of course.
exactly. It's mainly related to what we discussed previously. I would say that maybe in the case of work, the psychological symptoms might have a bigger effect. If you're being anxious, or if the stress starts to move towards anxiousness, it can go further down the line. It can reach panic attacks. And imagine what would happen if you're in a meeting with, let's say, your bosses. You're supposed to present a month's results, which are not that good. You're under a lot of stress. You have to justify to them why the results are so bad. And in the middle of doing that,
You have a panic attack.
you start having the symptoms: shortness of breath, heart beating like a train, and a big lump in your throat, and you can't stop. There's nothing you can do. You cannot control it. Maybe it's the first time happening and you have no idea what's going on. That's going to affect your job. Same way with just anxiety or even depression, because it can lead to depression as well. With depression and anxiety, it leads to the point where you might not be able to take the decisions you would have normally taken in a snap.
Yeah.
And you might not be able. You're basically gonna be stuck, and you cannot take those decisions as simple as they are.
Yeah.
You're gonna be building up scenarios in your head, a lot of what ifs, instead of just acting and moving forward. And the same is with work. You have a task, break it down, one by one, move forward, and that's it.
Amazing. I mean, I don't think that I would have explained that any better. I think the next thing I want us to talk about now is how to manage stress. So how do you, Horia, manage stress?
Okay, let's talk in general, and then I'll give you my
Your tips for managing stress.
my tips, the way I manage stress.
Okay.
With stress, it depends if you're only stressed or the stress has already led to depression, for example.
Okay.
If it's only stress, one of the best ways to do it is physical exercise.
Okay.
I know we tend to be couch potatoes. Same here.
I'm guilty.
Unfortunately, I'm a bit lazy when it comes to working out. So for me, the bare minimum is just going out for a walk.
Okay.
Take your significant other. If you're living especially in a city that has parks, patches of forests, mountains close by, go for a trip. If it's at the end of the day, at the end of work, talk to a friend, talk to your significant other, go for a half hour walk in the park. Have a beer in the park, or I don't know, go to a place if you want to have a drink, for example. Pick up a place that's half hour walk from your place. Just have that walk. It's gonna clear your mind. It's gonna help you put things in perspective, or even get you out of the same spot from which you've looked at things.
Okay.
And just change the perspective, and you'll be able to see different paths or different solutions to your problems. Otherwise, swimming, it's an excellent exercise activity. It uses all your muscles. It helps with breathing. But again, everyone has different ways, or they prefer different activities.
Of course.
For me, a different one would be just rolling cigarettes.
Okay.
And I think we need to touch upon, we forgot to talk about burnout.
Burnout, yes.
And the other physical activities. But let's finish. So, rolling cigarettes for me,
Okay.
it's a physical activity.
Yes.
I sometimes listen to music. I sometimes watch a documentary, something that's calming and soothing.
Okay.
And I can just sit there to 1, 2, 3, 4 hours, just roll cigarettes, and I don't even feel the need to smoke.
Okay.
We have to talk about vices, because they're strongly correlated with stress, by the way.
Oh.
It's very important,
Okay.
because a lot of people use them, and it's not a great idea, and I'll mention why.
Okay.
So yeah, if it's not rolling cigarettes, which granted it's going to help you, but long term you're rolling cigarettes probably for yourself, so you're smoking, so it's not a good idea.
Okay.
You can paint, you can build figurines, or you can play with Lego, for example. If you have a kid, play with Lego with them. It's amazing.
Yes.
It develops them in so many ways. It helps with spotting things. It helps with attention.
Even puzzles, right?
Yes, even puzzles.
Yes.
Even puzzles. But Legos are three-dimensional puzzles.
Of
So
course.
from this standpoint, I think they're superior.
Of course. True.
Okay. And the other thing I do, since I'm a bit of a computer geek.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, we all are, I guess, these days. It's games. So for me, it's games. And
I guess
depends.
as much.
Yeah. It can depend on... basically, I tend to pick my games based on, of course, what I would want to play, but I also take into account if I had a stressful day, how stressful it was.
So based on your mood.
Exactly.
Okay.
If I had a very stressful day and I would just like to decompress, let's say it was stressful but calm.
Okay.
Then I would probably play something like a Forex game, a building game, something that gets me in a zone where I think only about that and not about the other problems. If the stress is accompanied by anger, for example, then I might play something that might help me get out that anger. In general, it tends to be shooters. And by the way, it's not getting out anger in the sense that you take your keyboard and you smash it or your mouse. No.
Yeah. You're just venting.
Exactly.
Yes.
Or, and don't be that type of person that goes and vents onto the chat and basically transfers all that stress and all that negativity to other people, because that's not good either.
That's not good.
That's dumping your problems onto other people's backs in a way. So yeah, these are my, I would say, top 3.
Do you want to circle back to burnout?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I'm not sure exactly how much you know about burnout. One thing I like to touch upon is the fact that burnout can occur even without stress, or even without high levels of stress.
I didn't know that.
It can occur just, for example, we've been working maybe 1 year, maybe 2 years, without any proper breaks. Having 2 weeks off, maybe even more sometimes, or maybe going on a sabbatical if you've been working for a company for, let's say, 5 years.
Yes.
You might need a sabbatical. You take 1 month, maybe 2 months, maybe even more, depending on how much you need to recuperate and then get back to work. Because just going like that out of inertia is not going to work. Been there, done that. It led to anxiety, depression, smoking. So it's not a good idea. And since I've spoken about smoking,
Yes.
I want to touch upon ways in which people are coping with stress, but the unhealthy ones.
Okay.
And these are things like cigarettes, drugs,
Yes.
alcohol. It can even be sex, actually. Anything that brings us
I used
pleasure
to
in this
think
long.
I
in
used
this,
to think sex was a good thing,
well,
like a good outlet.
actually, I'm sorry. It is a good outlet.
For... yes.
Apologies. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. I can't. No.
If you're married, of course, if you have a significant other.
Yes.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, the cigarettes and alcohol and tobacco, and the drugs,
Mhm.
they will soothe you. The problem is it's only short term.
Okay.
So all these effects, cigarettes lasts maybe an hour, maybe less, maybe more, depends on how strong of how heavy of a smoker you are.
Yes.
With drugs, I don't know, probably between hours and I guess in some examples maybe even 12 hours or maybe a full day. The problem is your brain is gonna see these avenues of escape as the solution.
Okay.
You're feeling bad, your brain has noticed that, hey, you're giving me substance X or substance Y,
Yeah.
and it's making me feel good. It's gonna create a positive feedback loop, and whenever you're gonna feel bad, the brain is gonna want that certain thing.
So,
And this leads to alcoholism, abuse of drugs,
So some form of
cigarettes,
addiction.
and so on. Addiction, exactly,
mm,
exactly.
I see. Wow. Wow.
So yes,
That's-
don't do drugs, kids.
Yes. Do not do drugs. The distress in a healthy way, of course.
Yeah, if whenever possible, try to do it in a healthy way.
Okay.
Granted, we all might have moments when we sleep. Again, that's not a problem as long as we just stop going down that path.
I loved all the examples you get for helping cope with stress. You talked about gaming and
Yeah, it's gaming for me, rolling cigarettes,
taking a
and
long walk.
taking naps. Yeah, sorry, not naps, walks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're lucky enough in Krakow here. We have plenty of parks. We
Yeah.
have plenty of small forests, and I have a forest nearby me, and it's perfect. It's
Yeah.
perfect.
Okay, that's good. I would like to also.
Actually, yeah, I would like to know what your distressors are, or what's your way of detentioning after work or after a stressful situation.
Okay, so well, I mean, if you know me very well, you know that music is key in my life.
Yes.
So that's
She's sitting next to me, so I know.
yeah. So that's the first thing the first thing I would run to if I ever do feel stressed.
Yeah.
It's as simple as just picking the music. I don't know how to sing, getting the score and just going through it and learning how to sing it and then performing it. So the entire process, of having to do all of that helps me distress. And
I'd
yeah.
say all creative processes have this tendency because we tend to focus just on those, and if it's something creative, at the end of our activity, we have something to show for,
Yeah.
basically. So it helps a lot.
Of course. Do you want to guess what the second thing is?
Okay. We established that you're not a fan of physical activities either.
That's very embarrassing.
I am not sure, actually.
Okay, I'll tell you. The second thing I like to do to distress is calling my mom.
Okay.
Yes. So I would just pick up the phone and call my mom. I don't necessarily have to tell her anything. I just have to listen to her talk to me. And it just relaxes me. And funny enough, I stumbled into an academic research by Leslie Stelzer.
Okay, yeah.
I would leave the the name of the article in the description box. If you're interested in reading it, just check it out. I think it will pay you.
And also read what are your ways of getting rid of stress. That would be actually quite nice to hear.
Yes.
Or read.
Yes. So she performed this experiment and found that the neurohormone oxytocin,
Yes.
the neurohormone oxytocin, which is has been found to create a mother-to-child bond,
Yes.
also helps with the processes of distressing.
Yes.
So, yes. And she found, in her study, she found that oxytocin is released when you hear your mom's voice.
Yeah.
So it's a great
Makes
way
sense.
for me to distress. And I knew that it helped me distress even before I read this article. But when I read it, I just like solidified my argument that talking to my mom really helps me distress.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yes. So
Makes sense. There's one more thing I wanted to talk about, but I'll get back to it afterwards, maybe.
no, I want to hear it. You should talk about it.
Okay, it's not.
Oh, come on.
Perhaps we can leave it for another time,
Another conversation.
as it's something a bit more personal, which I'm not necessarily ready to share yet.
Okay, of
But
course.
perhaps in the future, if
We do have this
if the audience
interview.
is interested,
Yeah.
we can have perhaps another discussion, and we can go into more details, because this area of neuroscience,
Mhm.
while we still have a lot of unknowns, we have gained a lot of
Insight.
knowledge and
Yeah.
insight throughout the years, and it's been at the forefront of doctors now, in the sense that it's been acknowledged
Okay.
that stress and other medical or psychological issues
Conditions.
or conditions, can have real life consequences.
Okay.
And I'm referring more to the issues that weren't acknowledged previously, right? If we were to go back into the 1950s, nobody's gonna ask you about stress or what the effects are, because we didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the 1900s, we had kids working in the coal mines, so
That's
things
true.
changed.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be an excellent chance.
Of course, and I would love to have you on board to like go through this step by step with all of us. I think it's an amazing area we should explore and talk about some more. It's been really an amazing dialogue with you on management of stress, and I want to thank you so much for accepting my invitation to participate. You have been amazing.
Thank you.
I did.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I did gain a few insights into things I previously had no idea about. And to our viewers out there, I hope you have learned a thing or two. Do take the time to read some more about stress. Yes, and we will see you again sometime soon. Fingers crossed. Yes, so ciao.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Take care. Have a
Bye.
good one.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.